final hours of 100% Optical 2025, a show that's seen brand new technologies, the latest in eyewear style, and even robot team members.
The show generally has been really vibrant. There's lots of interesting stuff, especially on the main stage. I was watching B.I.G talk about artificial intelligence.
Researchers show that from a static retinal image, you can take cardiovascular risk factors. An AI model can predict cardiovascular risk factors, including age, smoking status, blood pressure, gender, just from a fundus picture.
It's really nice to go around and see some of the suppliers and have a look at some of the stuff that's coming out. Photobiomodulation seems to be a really big thing this year, so there's now new products that are FDA approved and being used in practices.
Low-level light therapy has been used in many areas for many years, but now in the area of dry AMD treatment, it's not designed to cure it because we can't cure the disease, but what it is designed to do is to slow the progression.
This is one of the most important dates in the AOP calendar. 100% Optical is an absolutely essential part of what we do. It's not just a great opportunity to promote the AOP, it's a great chance to meet all our members. It's a brilliant chance for us actually to interact with the people who we represent and serve.
This year's education had over 100 sessions, giving delegates the opportunity to kickstart the new CPD cycle. Common themes across the programme included myopia, with speakers exploring the conversations that might arise during a patient's myopia management journey.
I was first invited to present at 100% Optical back in 2017, and at that moment in time there weren't that many options available. Some eye care professionals were perhaps interested in the concept of myopia control and were using off-label interventions. It just goes to show how far this industry has come in the short space of time between 2017 and where we are today, and the narrative that supports that category and the changes that we have. We have far more interventions available, which is a fantastic way of being able to manage the significant growth in myopes that we're seeing both here and around the world.
Speakers also drew attention to glaucoma, exploring advances in detection methods and evolving pathways for patient care.
50% of glaucoma is undiagnosed, so we need the optometrist to ask the right questions and refer to the right places.
Manufacturers revealed new imaging technology, and AI was a focus for many of those.
If someone was to look at this without this being here, they might think, oh, it's colour-coded, everything's green, the scans look okay, everything looks all right on here, and they might just dismiss the patient. But actually, can you see these little red lines? It's actually saying all these areas are of interest, and as soon as we go, say, to that one, you can see here there's abnormality. Now, you could have missed that before.
New dry eye treatment modalities were also on display at the show.
I'm the founder and developer of Zocular and also the Zest platform, which is a very simple and effective eyelid cleansing procedure. You're going to turn this gel into a foam. Then you vary the direction of motion until you clean off that lid margin there.
In eyewear, colourful and chunky frames dominated the show.
Fashion eyewear is now at an all-time high. I think Europe has always been quite fashionable, but we're definitely catching up here, and I'm beginning to see that with what people are requesting when they come into our stores as well.
There was also a focus on reducing the environmental impact of the optical industry.
We've got Project Green, which is fairly new to the market with us, so it's our eco-friendly range, all made of bioacetate. We use a charity called One Tree Planted that plants a tree for each one that we sell.
100% Optical continues to go from strength to strength, with visitors and exhibitors highlighting the opportunities the show brings.
It's always been a good, vibrant show. It has the equipment side as well as the frame side, so you have a really nice mix of all the aspects of optometry in the UK.
100%. It, for me, is a wonderful exhibition. We're proud to attend it and support it, and hopefully we can do so for many more years.
Even as we're closing out 2025, the organisers are looking forward to 2026.
Really looking forward to next year's shows, so the 28th of February, the 1st and 2nd of March. Really looking forward to it and seeing how we can work with the community to make it even better.
My name is Tim Baker. I'm the Managing Director of B.I.G Ophthalmic Instruments. We're introducing a new product called Thermaeye, which is an intense pulse light therapy treatment for treating, in particular, dry eye, as well as other derma-related treatments. Essentially, you've got an Exxon bulb in there, which emits a controlled amount of light, and there's a number of different filters according to the depth in the skin. It also uses a water cooling system. Most of the devices on the market use air cooling. Water cooling is more forgiving on the dermis and is a little bit more comfortable for the patient.
So my name's Michelle Beach, I'm an optometrist and I own Part Vision, which is an independent practice in Nottingham. I've been doing dry eye now since 2008 and been using IPL since 2008. The reason I'm on the stand is because I was one of the first people to get the Thermaeye in, and I chose it because I think IPL is getting more and more used throughout the UK, but I think the machines that are coming out now are more specialised, and I chose the Thermaeye because of the control. So I like the cooling system, the delivery. And so I've been successfully using it since July and getting really good results with it. So Tim asked me to come on the stand today just because I'm using it, and I think sometimes people want to speak to someone that's not just selling it, but someone that's using it and loves using it. As you can see, it's quite small. So this is just sitting on top of here. You can use a foot pedal, but actually you have the button here that you press. This is the coolant system here, and this is actually, if you touch it, it's absolutely freezing cold. And then you have the different filters on it. So if we're doing dry eye and we're treating dry eye disease, we have this filter. You're delivering broad energy, and then you have the filter on here, but all these other filters here are for skin conditions. The thing about the Thermaeye that I like so much is you have control of the filter that you use, you have control of the cooling system, so depending on what you're trying to do, certain skin conditions you want to heat the skin up, but with dry eye you don't want to burn the patient, you don't want to make them uncomfortable, so you cool it back down again. Okay. You also can go up and down in the energy that you're using. And if you have a look here, it gives you a guide. So if I go up here, it doesn't want me to go any higher because I can hurt the patient. So it helps you to go within the parameters. The new thing that's come out, which a lot of the IPLs don't have, is the new filters that they've brought out, which target smaller areas. If you have a chalazion on the upper lid, you would put anaesthetic and a corneal shield in, and then you can treat the chalazion directly. You would struggle to treat an upper lid chalazion with a larger area, so these are very specific. The other ones are also there. You can do thread veins on noses and small skin issues. I mean, I don't particularly get involved with that, but you could if you wanted to go down that road. I have a big dry eye diagnostic system. So if a patient comes in with dry eye, I would show them their meibomian glands, I would show them their tear film. We have a look at staining. And, you explain to them that the reason that they're struggling with dry eye is because the tear film has 3 layers to it. And the oily layer, which is, I call their WD-40, which is the comfort layer at the front, the meibomian glands aren't working properly, and basically we need to give them an energy boost and we need to restart them. You show them videos of the meibomian glands, you show them their tear film, and most have been suffering for ages. They're chronic sufferers, and I think they understand. This is a patient using my diagnostic kit. You can see how poor the lipid layer is, and this is after using the Thermaeye. This is a really thin, very poor lipid layer. And afterwards you can see all the oil on the surface, so that's a before and after a course of treatment with the IPL. Dry eye is exponential now. It used to be something that happened to sort of menopausal female, but actually anybody that's on medication, anybody with inflammation, you can give drops and you can give heat masks, but these are all at home, patients don't use it, and this is taking your dry eye clinic to the next level. I mean, I have people coming from about 4 different counties who have Googled IPL and are coming in and expecting treatment. And optometrists are doing more and more now. We're specialising a lot more in clinical care. And this is something that we can do, and it's safe and it's easy to do.
IPL has been one of the most popular attractions at the show. I think two factors, obviously. One is it's treating what was pretty much an incurable debilitating disease, dry eye, so it's changing people's lives, so it's improving patient outcomes, and at the same time it's bringing arguably one of the biggest return on investments for practitioners at the show.
My name's Darren Taylor. I am the optometry sales and product training manager for Essilor Instruments. I deal with the education and training for anything to do with the instrument side of things in Essilor. This lovely device is a new device to us, so the Cellview WRI ultra-wide-field imaging system. This has been brought in from an acquisition towards the end of last year, and we're very happy to have it on our portfolio now to be able to offer to our customers. So the main features for this is the ultra-wide field imaging side of things. In practice, you would have an OCT, a fundus camera, sometimes built into the one device. But this is something which gives a much wider view of the retina. It's something that gives the patients a lot better peace of mind because you can see much wider out into the periphery of the retina. We've actually got two options when we're taking the shots. We can do one shot, which will be 133 degrees, or we can actually use a stitching function, which would take two of these shots, but then automatically stitch them together to produce a 200-degree image. You will see a green cross full of LEDs. Just look straight at that for me, please. The first click is all about focusing, so we get a nice sharp image, and then the second click actually takes the photo itself. That's great. You can lean back, Kimberly. Very simple. A nice gentle flash. You can see with very little training you'll be able to take some very nice images pretty quickly. We actually have cloud storage of the information on here as well, so it does enable practitioners maybe in other practices or other rooms to be able to access the data and look at the data just with a simple internet connection. So because this is ultra wide field, we get a much larger look out into the periphery of the retina. Because it is a true color fundus camera with infrared imaging as well, it's different enough, but it's also familiar enough that practitioners will be able to instantly have a look at the images, but also be able to use all the built-in filters and all of the measurement devices to be able to see exactly what they need to in much more detail. We can do all the normal stuff. We also have a little magnifying function as well, so we can just hover over any areas of interest. We also have all of our regular filters, so it captures in true color, but it also captures in infrared as well. Whatever you may be trying to look at, we've got a filter for it to basically kind of segment out the different layers. Anything we see on the photo, we then know pretty much what layer that's going to be in. So the main benefits of this is really to do with giving the patients peace of mind. Because we can see much more of the retina, we're able to take better care. Being able to provide this service would be able to offer almost kind of a one-stop shop facility and be able to look after all of their imaging needs at every eye test. One of the reasons we acquired the Cellview product is because of the company mentality. Their mentality was to be able to produce imaging devices at a cost which would be able to be accessible to all, to be able to offer something different than what practices may have at the moment, but at a cost and a price which is still very appealing when it add value for the patients as well.
This year we're really focusing on our AI decision support tool, which is called Pathfinder. And that's what a lot of people have been coming to talk to us about. What tends to happen is customers have to download the results, send them off, and then wait for the results to come back to them. But by this being baked into the actual OCT and embedded, you get instant results as soon as you've taken the scan. So whoever's doing the scanning can tell whether it's poor quality, whether there's areas that have been flagged of interest, and they can then deep dive into what's going on with the patient. From the patient's point of view, you do an OCT scan as normal, but as soon as you've completed it, it flags up down here any areas that it's concerned about. It could be as poor quality and the technician might have to redo it, or there's actually some pathology there that needs further investigation. If someone was to look at this, they might think, oh, it's color-coded, everything's green, the scans look okay, everything looks all right on here, and they might just dismiss the patient. But actually, can you see these little red lines? It's actually saying all these areas are of interest, and you should scroll into these areas to actually see what's happening in these areas. And as soon as we go, say, to that one, you can see here, there's abnormality. Now, you could have missed that before, but having these red lines, no one's going to miss anything. And you can see on the right-hand side as well, we're flagging it there as well. So as long as this little box is on here, that's our Pathfinder box, you can see that you're not going to miss anything, even if it looks normal on here. Some practitioners find OCT complex and they're worried about missing anything. With having a tool like this, it highlights straight away with some little red lines if there's any areas of interest that they should look at, so they won't miss anything. And the work that's been done on it it's over 90% specific and sensitive. We did over 75,000 B scans across a multitude of patients, and it was led by leading retinal specialists. That's why our results are so high with the specificity and the sensitivity. We're confident of the results it's giving you.
My name is Raffaello Infantino. I'm the System and Delivery Integration Director. Just a word about Nuance Audio. The aim is to implement a solution for people with mild to moderate hearing loss, so creating a smart glass that combines the typical eyewear, very comfortable, very fashionable, but that contain in a completely invisible manner the typical technology of an hearing aids. The glasses that I'm wearing, so probably you don't see nothing, contain all the technology inside. In particular, we have a spread of microphone around the frame, so we collect all the sound. Our personal algorithm is able to analyze this kind of sound, cancel the noise, identify the right frequencies that must be amplified, following what the customer has decided using the mobile app, amplify all the sound and transmit with two small speakers directly into the ear with an air conduction way. All these features are managed in less than 8 milliseconds, so very, very fast, and it's impossible to measure a possible delay between the voice of someone that is talking to you and the amplified sound received.
Many of our customers already offer hearing care, but we also know that many individuals still feel a real stigma around wearing hearing aids. So they simply avoid going down a route where they actually treat their hearing condition. We also know that there are many individuals who do not make a conscious buying decision around a hearing aid for quite considerable time. So this is a device that's looking to target individuals who will be buying a pair of glasses and could possibly benefit from hearing enhancement with immediate effect.
Just to show how it works, through the app, the customer can do a lot of things. The customer can calibrate the device. The customer can select 4 different kind of preset. With just one click, the algorithm is able to change completely the behavior. Some specific features are already available directly on the glasses. So, for example, if I wanted to change the volume, I can do with just one click. I can change the volume as well. Or if I needed to change the directionality, doing that gesture, and I can change as well. Of course, with a small sound, the customer knows what is his choice, and the ability to cancel the noise. It's a real pair of eyewear, so you can mount any kind of prescription lenses that you need. We have designed the product to permit a mount or dismount of lenses in a cold manner, so it's not necessary to warm. And with this shape of the temples and the flexible hinges, we ensure in every kind of faces, of course, choosing the right sides, a very good and comfortable fit.
The launch of a product like this is actually pretty complex. There's a number of things that need to take place internally before we're able to confidently bring this product to market. Clearly, one of the elements that really has to be factored in is our ability to glaze and mount lenses into this product. So for me, I would say Transitions Gen S lenses are a prerequisite for the optimized pair of Nuance audio, simply because it will allow the patient to be comfortable all day, every day, and wear the product to maximum effect so they can benefit from the hearing enhancement all of the time. From there, we're working through a process to optimize things and to be ready to launch this spring. So we will initially get to a pilot launch with a selected number of customers. We're still making those selections, so at this point we're asking for expressions of interest So customers who would really like to engage with this product, come speak to us, come having a conversation, and I'm sure we can include you in the initial pilot in some form. And then from there, we're looking at general release this summer with a view that every independent optician's practice in the UK and Ireland should carry this product to provide the very best clinical care to their patients for both vision and hearing.
My name is Dr. Hussein Kaki. I'm the Managing Director of Heart Eye, and this company is Dr. Noon by MediWhale. It's the first time we're exhibiting here, and it's an opportunity to get cardiovascular risk assessment using AI and fundus photography. The problem with cardiovascular disease right now is that we're detecting it quite late when patients already have symptoms. And there is an opportunity to get your eyes tested and an opportunity for you to detect cardiovascular disease at an asymptomatic stage. We use tiny changes in the blood vessels, arteries, veins, the ratio between them, how the blood flows through them, to be able to give accuracy on par with a CT scan. My colleague is just going to demonstrate the simple process. It does not require any dilation of the eye. The technology was validated initially in Korea, and then it was subsequently validated in the UK with the UK Biobank and approved by the MHRA. So he's just taken a couple of images, one of each eye. That will then go to our cloud. It's European-based, GDPR compliant, and the anonymized images will then return a picture and a report. So the beauty of this is that optometrists are already capturing these images with their retinal scanners, and so you would use the existing retinal image, upload it to our cloud, get a report in 2 to 3 minutes that's generated with AI, and counsel your patients appropriately. We often get asked, well, if I detect a patient with high risks, what do I do about that? We have a dedicated pathway where we can explain to patients what they do and how they can counsel their patients appropriately. You get a report which you can print out for your patients like this. The retinal image will capture the left eye and the right eye, and our AI captures the vessel tree a bit like this, and then it gives you a sort of low, medium, high risk, where the high risk tells you that you're likely to have a heart event that could be a heart attack or a stroke in the next 5 years. So it's been in development since 2016, but this is the first time that we're now launching it. It's approved by the MHRA and it's CE marked. We have a few practices in London that have started to use it, and patients are really appreciating this additional service, so it's all ready to go. Optometry offers a great window for patients to come for preventative screening. Patients are already coming for their eye scans, and this is another opportunity for optometry practices to generate revenue whilst also providing a great service to their patients. You can offer this solution to this patient, and you can detect cardiovascular disease at an asymptomatic stage. Cardiovascular disease is the first perimeter, but we're also now exploring detecting COPD and also kidney disease much better than existing parameters currently offer.
My name's David Thickens. I'm the CEO at Grafton Optical. We're a family-run company, second generation now. Here at 100% Optical, our main focus is optometry equipment. We focus on the diagnostic side, so we have the brand new ultra-widefield camera. The device is the Reticam 3100 Plus ultra-widefield retinal camera. This is a one-box solution for ultra-wide-field retinal imaging. The technology is based on traditional white light photography. It's the only device of its kind in the UK. The camera utilises AI as well as an automated function to capture images. The AI that's incorporated in this device is going to give an indication of pathology to the practitioner, not to make the clinical determination, but to give a good starting point for the further diagnosis. So this is the kind of example image that you could achieve. You have a progression analysis as well as a comparison between visits. There's some further manual editing tools where you can measure cup-disc ratio, you can make annotations, any pathology can be highlighted by drawing or whatever you would like, and you can obviously add clinical notes to the patient database file. We see the Reticam 3100 Plus in a pre-screening area where any member of staff can capture the images. So this is the brand new Visual Fields perimetry headset from Rexam. It's super lightweight. The unique feature with this device is that we use eye tracking at 260 frames a second to achieve the fact that we don't have to use a patient response button with this device. So the only instruction you need to give your patient with this headset is if you see a light, you look at it, and the machine does the rest. With traditional visual field, sometimes you get a lot of false positives and negatives that mean sometimes that you're having to retest that patient. With this device, because it It's only if the patient sees that light, it registers that point being seen, and it minimises significantly the amount of retests that opticians will have to do. It takes away the indecision of the patient. The headset is very lightweight, it's not top heavy, and you've got 2 adjustments for the patient comfort, and once you've set those, we're set to do a test. So this is the kind of report page that you'll be able to generate. It generates a report page very similar to many of the traditional visual fields devices on the market. So if you've seen one report page, this will be very easy to transfer to. There's also comparison over time, and there's a line map as well that's very useful to see progression and visual fields. Once the headset is on and in place, the operator will have a series of 3 screens, so they can see exactly how the eye tracking is working and if the patient is responding correctly and the position is in place. They also have a screen to show the points that have been measured or need retesting, and they also see a report map as it's progressing. We can do a screening test in around 1.5 minutes per eye. One of our very first demonstrations within the UK, one particular patient had Parkinson's disease. He'd never had a visual fields test because he didn't have the capability to press the button in time or be quick enough. And with this device, we did his very first visual fields assessment.
So my name's Sharon Ormond. I'm the sales director for Northern Europe here at Optos. Optos manufacture ultra-wide-field retinal imaging and OCT devices. We're here at 100% this year, showcasing MonacoPro. Monaco was the first ultra-wide-field device with combined posterior pole OCT. We took customer feedback on board, and we've improved the OCT elements on MonacoPro. We've now got, as an example, volume scans, so for retinal topography, for optic nerve head, volume scans where each individual line, as you scroll through and view, is the quality of an average B scan. The workflow that we can create with Monaco means you can program the specific scans that you want to take in the order that you want to take them. So the images I'm going to take at the moment are going to be for a general glaucoma screening. And what this does is it allows us to capture the maximum amount of information about the retina with the fewest images. Just gone into the OCT mode now, and the OCT will be looking at your vascular structure on the retina and locking onto that for its auto location. Okay, so have a couple of blinks for me. And eyes really wide, keep staring. We've set MonacoPro to take an ultra-wide field colour image, ultra-wide field autofluorescence, a retinal topography, and an optic nerve head topography. From that, the system will extrapolate an RNFL image, and that means you've got the maximum amount of information possible in the shortest amount of images. It will present with colour, autofluorescence, retinal topography, with the reference database, optic nerve head topography, also with reference database. The software will help the clinician, give them lots of information all in one go. So if we move forward, we get ganglion cell analysis, and again, you've got all the different types of scans there all in one view. The quality of the OCT scans is greatly improved, and what you can see here is we've got the quality of an average line scan, but actually it's a volume scan. We can scroll through and we can see the fine detail in each of those scans. We've also introduced something called Area Assist on MonacoPro. So Area Assist allows a clinician to document a lesion, and it will give you a specific micrometer measurement that can be documented and saved. That patient walks back in through the practice door, has their images taken again, use Area Assist again, and it will tell you whether that lesion is stable or whether it's grown. I'll show you an example here of geographic atrophy and how Area Assist can help with measuring that. Simply click and it will highlight the different areas, and then it will give you a measurement. So we can save that on the image. It's then documented. Patient comes back on their subsequent visit. We do the same again. It gives accurate measurements as to whether that lesion has changed or not. This can be really good for things like geographic atrophy, AMD, hydroxychloroquine screening, all of those things where you want to make sure, is an area growing or is it dormant. It can also be used to document any type of change on the retina because it will automate the measurement of any particular lesion that you see. So in terms of helping and supporting with monitoring, diagnosing, making that decision, do I need to refer this off for treatment? It'll be really valuable to all clinicians.
Hi, I'm Jason Halsey. I'm the Rodenstock UK's Products and Training Manager. Rodenstock do a thing called Big Exact lenses where we measure the biometrics of a patient's eye rather than using the static eye model. And we've now launched the next level of that personalisation where we're taking into account sensitivity. So it's the Big Exact sensitive lens we're launching. Rodenstock, we understand that every eye is different, but even two biometrically similar eyes might perceive aberrations in a very different way. So visual sensitivity is trying to measure that and address that. Rodenstock's done over 5 years worth of research. The global product manager has come from a neuroscience background, Dr. Sviatchin. She's worked with dyslexic children and so on, understanding how the brain works. And what she's worked on from a product point of view is to look at that aberrations and how we work with them to give the brain the best input. So we look at the sensitivity index and then incorporate that into the design. We've probably all met that patient that can notice 012 or 025 cylindrical power. Conversely, we've probably all had that patient that might wear their occupationals around the office and then get in the car and drive home because they don't realise they haven't swapped to their varifocals. So we can now measure that sensitivity and incorporate that into the design to give them a more perceived bespoke experience. From a practice point of view, if they already have one of our scanners, the main difference that we ask from them is to give us the patient's visual acuities, because it's one of the parameters that we take into account alongside the visual sensitivity, because it's the pupillometry, the aberrometry, the biometry, as well as the visual acuities. And then utilising that data, we then get a sensitivity index, and we can actually map where the patient will be, and we can, as I say, adjust the design based off that. So it's the patient gets the best visual experience for their brain rather than just for their eyes. With the DNI scanner, what we do is we take a complete biometric measurement of the patient's eye, we get all of their measurements, and again, we incorporate that into the subjective refraction data, and we take the visual acuity data from the refraction, and this is incorporated into the lens. This is our ecosystem. It ties all of that information together. And again, we've got the objective numbers, the subjective numbers, the visual acuities, and then it will show you the order values that we would order based off that. Finally, we've obviously got the measurement mirror where we'd actually take a measurement, we take a snapshot, and it's done to the nearest 0.1 degree and so on. And you can then dispense from that. So you can pick your lens type, and you can show the benefits to your practice patients between the different lens designs. You can show them further information about, we've all had that patient that's come out and their ad's gone up, for example, and they want the same lenses. And you can say to them, well, actually, because your ad's gone up, your corridor's narrowed, so actually you might want to consider something better. Or we can actually change the design of the lens. So if you've got somebody that works at home on screens a lot and they want more intermediate, rather than just having a fixed, I can actually change it so that they get more intermediate width. I can change where the corridor starts and finishes, so I can move it up if they want into their intermediate quicker, or if they're active and they're a golfer or a mountain biker, I can move the progression start much lower down. So we can completely bespoke the lens based off the patient's needs, lifestyle, the visual acuities, the sensitivity, and the biometry. It's the most personalised lens we've ever done.
My name is Fergal Byrne. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Topcon Great Britain and Ireland, so I look after all of the products that Topcon have in their portfolio. Today we have the EyeLight device, which is a device that we can treat dry AMD with, which is revolutionary in terms of the treatment of the disease that at the moment, or up until now, there has been no treatment for other than dietary changes or taking supplements. The EyeLight device uses photobiomodulation or low-level light therapy to treat dry AMD. It's not designed to cure it, because we can't cure the disease, but what it is designed to do is to slow the progression of the disease, which stops it from going from the dry to wet form, which means that people maintain their vision longer. So this is the EyeLight device, which we use to deliver the dry AMD treatment. People may be familiar with this device already, because this device is used in practice to deliver dry eye treatments using low-level light therapy and IPL. But now it's indicated for use on dry AMD patients. It's a 2-mask process, and we have a loading phase with a follow-up 6 months later of a maintenance phase of treatments. The treatment is made up of a yellow and red mask, at 2 different wavelengths. So the treatment is 6 minutes with the yellow mask followed by 6 minutes with the red mask in that loading phase. It's a very non-invasive treatment. The patient normally is put in a relaxed reclined position, wearing the mask on their face. For the patient, it's quite a nice experience. I think what's key here is that they, almost like dry eye, they have to dedicate specific clinics within their week to this type of treatment, because obviously the treatment itself takes a bit of time to deliver, and the monitoring and the follow-up of those patients is key as well. Customers that are going to implement this really need to devise a different patient journey for these patients and dedicate the time and the space within the practice to deliver the treatment. The company Espansioni that have made this device underwent a very significant trial called the Lightwave 1 study. It was a double-blind randomized clinical trial. It's about 150 eyes. It came back with statistically significant results. They're looking at, not a reduction in drusen, but a slowing of the progression of drusen, but also an improvement in best corrected visual acuity. And the outcomes of the trial showed that best corrected visual acuity improved by up to 5 letters on logMAR, and the progression of the disease did slow, versus the sham model within the study, which actually progressed and got worse in all cases. That study is ongoing now, a larger clinical trial, because obviously the follow-up on these patients is key as well, because the longevity of the treatment is what we're looking for. What we're doing this year, are they going to sustain that or get better next year, or at least the progression doesn't get any worse, or doesn't get any worse in year 2, 3, 4 or subsequent years down the line.
What we're seeing in store now is that people want the fashion, but they need it to be affordable. So I believe genuinely that opticians need to maybe rethink. I mean, they know what sells year in, year out, but they're now going to have to keep up with the internet. We used to believe that we had ages to go, and I believe this, even a year ago, I believe that we had at least another 10 years before online opticians, retailers were able to catch up with the retail offering. But that's changed now. With the introduction of AI and all these amazing try-on apps that these websites are using, which are very realistic, they can even take measurements, I think we are going to see a massive decline in footfall in our stores. We are actually seeing a massive decline in footfall in our stores. I think last year was down a few % compared to previous years. And I believe that's because people are going over to the online offering. So in order to keep our customers in store, we have to offer a range of eyewear, range of prices to speak to every single person with different budgets, and a range of styles as well.
Every independent has their own style. I think there's loads of really great practices that are doing lots of styling, and they're working with such incredible brands. But I think, having a real great range of something quirky, but also commercial, I think, trying to reach as many people as you can.
When the economy is difficult, people need something really special to give people the desire to buy new glasses. That usually brings colour, bold shapes, big expansive materials, lots of daring eyewear.
Really, it needs to come from your customer. Your customer's always going to dictate where you need to go.
It's really important to look for brands that have got a story, apart from just the product. You really need to have 360 brands that communicate well and will support you. And I would go, right now, if I had an independent practice myself, I'd be doing fewer brands, but going deeper into them. So you can really tell the story and show confidence to the consumer. I think the consumer really needs to understand what they're paying for, because the big challenge for independent opticians right now is the low end. There are great marketing companies out there that have a very ordinary product, but present it in a beautiful environment with great communication. And the consumer needs to think about what it is that's going to make them spend good money on an eye test or great money on a frame. Why should they spend more money on lenses? All of those things. And it's our role in independent optics to communicate what that's about. And if the consumer decides they want to buy the cheaper option, that's okay, as long as they know what all the reasons are.
My name is Zainab Suleiman. I am the co-founder of Rebel Eyewear. Prior to Rebel Eyewear, I co-founded, and I still run, a long-established domiciliary business. I also have several opticians as well. In fact, Rebel Eyewear was created to provide affordable eyewear for our opticians. Rebel Eyewear has 7 different brands. They range from an NHS budget offering to a luxury offering. This is our 1-year anniversary. We launched at 100% last year. We're pretty much relaunching Cool and Parker & Payne. We launched them last year for the first time at 100%. We took on the feedback of our customers and we realized that we needed something a little bit more defined. So we've gone back, we've refined the brands, and we've come back this year with a brand new offering, which I think the customer's going to be happy with. And it will then align these 2 brands with the 2 brands that were very successful last year, which was Edge and Luca Wolf. We created Parker & Payne to appeal to the customers that wanted the more traditional eyewear. Even though I love what we have on Cool and Edge, the funkier stuff, that's my taste. But we created Parker & Payne to speak to traditional retail customers. But we have put our own twist on these. Fashion eyewear is now at an all-time high, especially in the UK. I think Europe has always been quite fashionable, but we're definitely catching up here. And I'm beginning to see that with what people are requesting when they come into our stores as well. Geometric shapes and cat eye and color. I mean, it's probably epitomized by these glasses that we have here. So we've got them in a few colorways as well. We've got 4 different colorways, but it literally, I mean, look, I'll put them on for you. This is the future. They literally speak to the trends that we've got going. And we've been able to do that in various offerings across all of our brands. I mean, some are definitely traditional, but we've been able to play, make a play on that cat eye feature. Then you've got your geometrics as well. What we're seeing in store now, people want the fashion, but they need it to be affordable. So I believe genuinely that opticians need to maybe rethink. I mean, traditionally, they know what sells, especially the long-established opticians, they know what sells year in, year out, but they're now going to have to keep up with the internet. And we used to believe that we had ages to go. And I believe this, even a year ago, I believe that we had at least another 10 years before online opticians, retailers were able to catch up with the retail offering. But that's changed now. With the introduction of AI and all these amazing try-on apps that these websites are using, which are very realistic, they can even take measurements, I think we are going to see a massive decline in footfall in our stores. We are actually seeing a massive decline in footfall in our stores. I think last year was down a few % compared to previous years. And I believe that's because people are going over to the online offering. So in order to keep our customers in store, we have to offer a range of eyewear, range of prices to speak to every single person with different budgets and a range of styles as well. And that's what we've actually created at Rebel Eyewear. We've created that range, so it's a very easy offering for opticians that buy from us.
My name's Will. I'm a director of the Mostyle UK business. We launched 3 years ago and we're part of a bigger company in Australia that's been running since the early 80s. At 100% Optical, under the Mostyle banner, we've got Project Green. It's our eco-friendly range, so all made of bioacetate. We use a charity called One Tree Planted that plants a tree for each one that we sell. It's a really nice story going on with this. A lot of practices wanting to, have something to show in that space in their practice now. I think eco-friendly is not going to go anywhere. We're really proud of where we are with this. We've just signed up to net zero, so we're looking to make our whole process to be net zero across all of our brands. These are bioacetate, so rather than the fossil fuel element used to make them, we use a castor oil instead. So sustainable castor oil is the main sort of part of the polymer. These will biodegrade within 6 months in a compost heap. A lot of them have this unique hinge mechanism that goes up, down, left and right, sort of, round and round. So you can fall asleep in your glasses and be quite happy. We've got the sustainable cork case that comes with it. All the packaging's sustainable. We're really proud of it. We have our Avanti range, which is really colourful acetates, colourful metals, but nice commercial shapes that really anybody can wear. And then lastly, our Eclipse range, which is all of our lightweight frames. We've just started an offshoot in our Avanti brand for some chunky acetate in mind of the sort of the younger market coming up, that maybe they're looking at more of the bolder sort of look. I think it's really important to know your own customer base, and really our ranges can be tailored in that way to your customer base. So particularly with our Avanti range, you could pick it to be really, really colourful and really wild, in fact, or you could pick it to be quite earthy in its tones, or do a mixture of the two. So I think really it needs to come from your customer. Your customer's always going to dictate where you need to go. So it's listening when you're out selling frames of what people have said that they want, and then we can tailor the range to fit that.
My name's Kirk Kirk, I'm the CEO of Kirk Kirk. We're bringing our unique material, which is K-Light, which is a material that we've developed ourselves and we're the only people that have it. So that's really important to bring independent practices something new so that they can differentiate themselves from their competitors. And we developed it because we wanted to be able to have something that was chunky and look voluminous, but at the same time it's really, really light. Because we create all our own materials, we're not dictated to by the big players. So we can create our own colours, our own combinations of colour that nobody else has. Cat's a brand new frame. It's a really, really balanced feminine frame. Just launched it. It's a new colour called Lagoon. I mean, that looks amazing. You know, I can show you 50 frames that you'll look great in, but there's one frame that really makes your heart beat. There's one frame that you really, really enjoy wearing, and that's the right one. You probably don't even need to look in the mirror to feel that it's the right frame for you, but it makes your heart beat. When the economy is difficult, people need something really special to give people the desire to buy new glasses. It's really important to look for brands that have got a story, apart from just the product. You really need to have 360 brands that communicate well and will support you. And I would go, right now, if I had an independent practice myself, I'd be doing fewer brands, but going deeper into them. So you can really tell the story and show confidence to the consumer.
My name's Kieran Hill, I'm from Waterhaul, and we collect and recycle lost and abandoned fishing gear that we've collected from around the UK coastline. We're showcasing our range of eyewear predominantly, but the big kind of factor that we're bringing to the show this year is our traceability system, which to our knowledge is kind of industry leading, especially within the UK. Our traceability system counts the weightage from the material that we collect. We take photo evidence of that as well, and then we get it back to our unit where it's all weighed again systematically. So it's traced from literally the collection point all the way through to when we send it to our partner in Scotland, who then turn it into a pellet, then into the product. And we're able to now showcase the traceability through our system that's embedded onto our website and the QR codes that are going to be part of every single product we now produce. And then the customer at the end can scan that and see all that information, who collected it, the date it was collected, and the photo evidence for that as well. It's very black and white. Scan this QR code, this is where the material comes from, and this is what Waterhaul do. We're making it as easy as possible for those optical professionals to basically have that conversation really cleanly and clearly with the people they're engaging with. For practices and practice owners, the best thing is just clarity. There's no ambiguity around the products that we produce. It's so clear and transparent. You can just scan the code and you can tell your customers where the material has come from. It just builds that trust, I suppose, between the practice owners and the customers and the brand. But we've always wanted to do things in the best way that we could. And we knew that traceability was one of those key things that we wanted to crack. It just for us was a case of time, people, and luckily in the last 12 months we've made some really key hires. There's been some incredible people behind the scenes building this together, and the way the world is going and policies coming into place for manufacturing in general, transparency and traceability in supply chains is a massive topic within manufacturing, and we're just kind of at the forefront of that now, and lots of brands are going to have to start looking into the sourcing and the credentials of their materials. So about 12 months ago, we kind of sat down and realized that although things are going really well for us, we're selling the products successfully, eyewear's a relatively small thing. We do our litter picking equipment, which is more material being used, but generally our goal and ambition with Waterhaul has been tackling the problem of fishing gear in the environment. So what we're now doing is we've now got obviously the traceability system in place. So we've used that to essentially create a new business alongside of Waterhaul, which is our traceable marine plastic. So that is a plastic feedstock that is now available to other brands, industries, manufacturers who can become a part of the Waterhaul mission, but have a much bigger impact to the scale that we wanted to when we started. So this year alone, we've already collected 21 tons and recycled that into pellet. And now we're using it for our own products, but we're also enabling other materials manufacturers to access that material to become part of the mission essentially. So it's very exciting. It not just allows us to have a massive impact on the problem, but it also allows us to scale up and put more investment into our mission and other things that we do like our eyewear and litter picking equipment as well. So watch this space, because the next 12 months could be very different for us than anything we've done in the past.
Imaging of any kind is very important.
You're documenting the exact point in time that you've seen that patient and exactly what their retina looked like.
It's very much something that seeing is believing.
With the best will in the world, the best notes in the world aren't going to give the clinician that sees that patient the next time that amount of information. If you take a 200-degree view of the retina, the best notes in the world aren't going to give them that information. If you take an OCT scan, best notes in the world aren't going to give them that information when that patient walks back through the door. So for us, one of the things that we believe is important is that patients are shown their images.
Much easier to educate the patients as well when you can actually show them exactly what's going on in their eyes.
Helps them to understand. We know that educated patients make better choices about their eye care, about the frequency of visit, about their lenses, the specs that they choose. Talk them through the reasons why you've wanted to take this image today. Then the patient can understand and see the value of having their images taken. Next time they walk back in through that practice door, they should have them repeated. They can check for any subtle changes that might not be seen any other way.
As we get older, obviously a lot of people are being referred for cataracts now, but if you don't scan before they go for their cataracts, you can have a cataract operation and then a visual surprise because they weren't screened before and they might not have done that cataract operation, or they might have chosen something different. So it's really important, even if the patients think there's nothing wrong with them whatsoever, that you do this imaging just to make sure, because you can't always see it on a fundus photograph, etc. You need to go beneath the layers to see what's happening.
You can show the patient, talk the patient through if there's any pathologies that have been detected. You can show the patient exactly what you mean, rather than not having a picture at all and trying to explain to a patient that might not necessarily have the background knowledge of retinal photography and the medical imaging.
My name's Nicole. I'm our Senior Account Manager at Rebel Eyewear. At 100% Optical, we're showcasing our in-house brands. We've got Planet Pop, Forever and a Day, and the Recycled Readers Company.
Hi, I'm Kate Kermack. I'm one of the designers at Rebel Eyewear. I designed Forever and a Day, which is our youth brand, aiming towards more youthful, trendy customer and smaller sizing.
So Forever and a Day, I think we're really trying to cater to that teen market. It's very much commercial, but we've got some trendy shapes in there. So we're really excited to be promoting this brand.
Just really introducing some really lovely, beautiful colours with some classic taupe combinations.
So I'm actually wearing the Frankie. It's very much like a sort of angular cat eye. We've got it in 3 colours. I'm wearing a sort of more neutral. It's like a mixture of brown crystal and also some acetate tortoiseshell lamination. We also do it in a really lovely dark navy crystal, and then also a teal and pink, which is a little bit fun, a little bit cool for someone who wants something a bit trendy.
Inspiration behind the designs are sort of the smaller sizes, but keeping that trendy as well. We want them to experience the trends, have more interesting shapes, have more interesting colours. We're not restrict that customer. Thicker acetates as well, but again, that narrower profile, wider sides. People are looking for trendier stuff now, definitely. And as well with TikTok and the influences, the librarian trend, people are looking for super skinny, like they're having to resort to vintage frames where they shouldn't have to, and we really want to bring that in.
So Planet Pop is our children's brand. It was very much inspired by our parents in the office. They really said that their children were looking for an eco-friendly brand, or they're so excited to learn about it. So we really wanted to offer a collection that was eco-friendly, but bright, fun, still commercial, but I think again, kids are really excited and they get really drawn to bright colours. So a lot of our practices that are stocking it have said it's made their job a bit easier to have something fun and that kids want to wear. So yeah, all sustainable, lots of different materials. So this is actually Rebel Eyewear's first time exhibiting at 100%. It's just really great to be involved and meet lots of our sort of friends in the industry, our customers. So we're just all really excited to actually take part. So yeah, it's been a good weekend.
I'm Jason Klump, the Managing Director for Alcon Vision Care UK and Ireland. On the stand this year, we're trying to highlight our water surface contact lenses. It's a new category that takes the best of HEMA, best of SiHy lenses, and brings it together to have no more compromise, so you have good breathability and comfort. It's the Alcon water surface lenses. We try to help the whole journey. We're trying to help the front of house staff be able to talk about contact lenses or do a teach. on the back end, but with the Optoms, we're trying to make it simple for them to help astigmatics get the best of the water surface lenses. They really have those higher needs of visual acuity, and our lenses do a great job helping with that. So they need to work with everybody in the practice so that not just one person knows what's going on, but everybody knows. So we're helping the Optoms understand the technology, that it's easy to fit a toric lens. It's 95% success rate with the water surface lenses. So it makes it easier there, front of house staff, the owners of the shops and practices, making it so that everybody understands it's easy to do contact lenses, especially for astigmats. And then of course, we hope that as they get better in their journey with their patients, that they use the water surface contact lenses like Precision 1 or Total 1 Toric. The main thing there is helping the whole practice. When you walk into a practice, you don't just see an Optom. You see somebody at the desk, you see somebody that takes you through the testing to get to the Optom. And then afterwards, you have somebody teach you, right? So if we can help our practices have that great touch point all along the way, and of course, hopefully they talk about water surface contact lenses and the benefits that are there, that there's no more compromise, we think the whole category will grow. And as you do that, people become more engaged, they're more excited about contact lenses, so we think it's a win-win for the patient, the customer, and for Alcon. What we're really hoping is that at the end of the year, more people will feel that the category of water surface contact lenses is a category, just like HEMA lenses and just like Zeiss AI lenses. And if we do that, we'd consider it a successful year.
As of January, we have expanded our ultra monthly family. Particularly, we brought over 6,000 parameters into that multifocal range for astigmatism. And we know that multifocal range for astigmatism, the options in the market are limited. So Bausch has brought now over 6,000 parameters that are ready in stock, ready to be shipped, available with trials, and trials actually free of charge, which is really exciting because it offers the eye care professionals an opportunity to fit people like me, astigmats, who get to that stage of presbyopia, so that we can continue wearing our lenses every day, no compromises made.
From the statistics you see in everyday practice, there's a very large drop-off of multifocal wearers. Certainly the age group, when over 45, we see a real decline in contact lens wearers. And many of those toric contact lens wearers currently, as they move into that presbyopic age group, there isn't a product for them.
There are people like me who wear their lenses every day. I have cylinder minus 2.75 in my eye, so without astigmatic correction, I can't see the world, basically, no distance actually. And I am getting to that stage of presbyopia, and once I get there, I do not want to give up on the comfort that fits into my lifestyle, wearing lenses every day.
So to now have a product available, which is available, off the shelf, ready to ship, can be within the practice within 2 to 3 days, really makes a difference for ECPs to be able to fit a product very comfortably. We have over 6,000 parameters available in both a high and a low ad, and for us, it's been a real game changer.
Bausch Lomb Ultra One Day is the only lens with comfort field technology, so it makes it completely unique for practices to stand out and offer their patients that 16 hours of comfort.
It's been really well received by practice. We did a very large scale in-clinic study of 9,600 patients by 1,300 practitioners across Europe. And the outcome of that was 9 out of 10 would choose this as their first choice lens, and 9 out of 10 would also recommend it to their peers as a first choice lens as a daily disposable as well. From a patient's point of view, 9 out of 10 patients said they could comfortably wear this lens all day long.
This technology was inspired by the TFOS Jews 2 report, where we have introduced ingredients that help with the maintenance of the tear film homeostasis. This is all through the comfort field technology, which passively diffuses ingredients like electrolytes, osmoprotectants, and moisturizers into the tear film throughout the 16 hours of wear as the eye needs it.
So I'm Sam Weimer, co-founder of The Body Doctor, and I am the sales and marketing director. Dry eye is becoming more and more prevalent. Environmental factors are changing. I also think the biggest thing is patients' habits are changing. They're more receptive to, I have dry eye, my eyes don't feel great, and I'm going to go seek treatment. And that's a big difference because, 10, 20 years ago, it was, oh, never mind and let's continue. Now it's, I want my eyes to feel like they used to. There's more awareness around it, and we can educate patients on that. And we say, look, you're going to be sitting in an office, probably air-conned. sat in front of a computer screen or a laptop for 8-9 hours a day. These are all damaging to, obviously damages the ocular surface, and that's what we can start to help with. So I think the more we talk about it, the more we engage with it with patients as well, is going to really benefit obviously the clinicians and the practices, but also the patients getting the treatment. Dry Eye Revolution is designed to make independent opticians a fully fledged dry eye clinic within 30 days. We have the business side of it where we can really give you the tips and tricks of how to make it a success. We then have the over-the-counter side where obviously we want to be sending patients home with effective and lasting results or dry eye relief results. And then we have the in practice, the clinical treatment. That's where the teams get really involved, especially contact lens opticians. You know, we have an opportunity to ultimately drive the level of engagement with our patients and deliver really fast and really effective results immediately. And that's the benefit of Dry Eye Revolution and becoming a fully fledged dry eye clinic. We have successfully launched on Saturday Dry Eye Revolution 2.0. Originally we launched last year Dry Eye Rev 1.0, and we got a lot of learnings, a lot of clinician feedback, a lot of successful clinics had been created, but we realized quickly that we need to do more support and we can do more. So that's what we've done here. We've rewrote the script ultimately on what Dry Eye Revolution is, and we have had unbelievable feedback. So it's bigger than just how to set up a clinic. It's how to set up a clinic and make it successful, and that's what Dry Eye Revolution 2.0 delivers. When we launched Dry Eye Revolution originally, the teams understand the clinician side, the clinical side of treating dry eye. It was the business side that we were having the issues with. You know, how do I get the patient to come back to treat dry eye on a specific day rather than, because it's easy, you know, once we do the eye test and then we say, oh, you've got a bit of blepharitis and a bit of dry eye, you need a drop or you need some wipes, etc., over-the-counter products. And we do that, and we're very good at that. Whereas what Dry Eye Revolution is giving the practices the confidence to say, you know what, we're going to come back and see me on Tuesday. And that's going to come with a fee, because obviously my time has to come to be compensated, and we're going to effectively manage this dry eye. So we're going to have to do some in-practice treatment. So we recommend Nulids Pro and Zest, and that's like a manual debridement of the lid margin. We get rid of a lot of the biofilm, and Zest in particular is a massive anti-inflammatory agent. So we're going to bring down that inflammation. Patients feel amazing, and that's where we can start to see the real results. So that's where we're focusing. The Dry Eye Revolution has been written by Roz Musa, contact lens optician, very successful dry eye clinic herself. We utilize all her tips and tricks, and we provide that to all Dry Eye Revolution members.
Hi, I'm Peter Pham. I'm an ophthalmologist from Houston, Texas. I'm the founder and developer of Zocular and also the Zest platform, which is a very simple and effective eyelid cleansing procedure. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes with a clinical guarantee where if you do a Zest procedure, we guarantee that after 20 minutes, there'll be at least a 50% or greater improvement in clinical symptoms. Everything you need to perform the Zest procedure is in here. And Zest is quite versatile. It can be used to treat anything that walks into the office with redness, swelling, itch, or pain. So everything from blepharitis to Demodex to dry eye, MGD, rosacea exacerbation. So we're going to get started here. It's going to take about 5 minutes or so to do the procedure. Just open it up. You have the lens case here. You have the Zest gel. You have the surgical gauzes. You have the drape and the 2 specially developed Zaki swabs. We're going to then open up the Zest gel by turning it clockwise until it comes off. We're going to put gel into the left and right side there, about half and half, and we're going to go over and do the procedure. So you want to put a lot of gel over the lids, all right? And then you're going to turn this gel into a foam, first by going laterally. And then you can see it goes from a clear gel into a foam. Then you vary the direction of motion until you clean off that lid margin there. So for MGD type dry eye, you probably do this for about 30, 45 seconds. The lower lid will require about half that time there, all right? And see, you notice I'm going clockwise, counterclockwise, I can go vertical. You can even do rotational. This is where we're gonna get the lid margin right here, even without pulling up on the lid, because you can do the rotational pattern there. And then once we do the upper lid, we're gonna go down to the lower lid. Now look up there for us, look way up. And then now you pull down the lower lid and you clean the lower lid. Again, that takes about 1/2 to 1/3 the amount of time as the upper lid. And then look down there for me, and look up again. And then again, we're gonna go right across the lid margin for a little bit there. And then we're done with one eye. Now we're gonna wipe off all of the gel with a down and out motion. And then there's a lot of gel there. We're gonna cover that gel up with the clean gauze there. And then now we're going to rinse off the gel from the eye. Now look up there for us. To do that, you're gonna have the patient always look up, pull down the lower lid a little bit, and then press hard on the saline pack so that there's a stream of water coming out, or saline here. And then you're done with the one eye, and you repeat the same process for the other eye.
My name is Roland Allen. I work for Deep Cove, which is the UK distributor for OptiSwiss, and I'm the managing director. It's one of the main things that we're launching this year at 100% Optical is our new range of fashion tints. They're called Lollipop, so this is the new range, and they are a full range of vibrant pastel tints available in full tint and also graduated. With frames becoming more vibrant, patients are looking for lenses that they can match to the specific frame. There is a color to match every frame type. It's fun, and people are looking for something different to make their practice stand out, and I think that the Lollipop tints from OptiSwiss can really help them do that. Patients are not particularly aware of what options are available, even the fact that they can have say varifocal lenses with sunglasses or with a tint. So it's useful to visualize all those potential lens choices to a patient. Sometimes we take it for granted that everybody knows all the different lens options, whether that's varifocal, occupational, or distance or readers. But the same goes for tints. If you place this tint box towards the back of the store, it brings people into the space more. I think you need a combination of both having the demonstration boxes where you can show each of the tints on the desk, but also have them on display, because that starts the conversation with the patient, and then you can show them in detail how that can match with the frame. OptiSwiss as a brand it's a fully independent brand based in Basel, Switzerland, with 100% of the lenses made in Switzerland, and we're looking to work with only independent opticians, and the opticians that really appreciate the benefits of OptiSwiss are ones that want to differentiate themselves. So the brand is discreetly distributed in the UK. It really helps a store stand out and not be the same as everybody else.
So my name's Elizabeth Lum. I'm an optometrist, and my current role at Cooper Vision is Director of Global Professional Affairs, and my key focus is the area of myopia management. Today's presentation centred around an individual called Dan. Dan is a hypothetical child who was diagnosed with myopia at the age of 7. And we followed him throughout the presentation, both in a single vision correction and a myopia control correction, and looked at those sort of key milestones along the way to understand exactly what life might have been like had he continued to progress without treatment, and what life would have been like in treatment. So the first key message is that if you are looking at a newly diagnosed myope, there is no sense in waiting to treat, so you have to have those conversations. In fact, that's a direction from the College of Optometrists, ABDO guidance, AOP guidance. All of it leads towards a conversation and some proactivity in discussing what those options might be moving forwards. Myopia management as a treatment shouldn't really rest solely as a responsibility that sits with the eye care professional. I think this is one of those situations where the entire practice team can really play a significant part. So the dispensing opticians in practice might recognise those moments where those children might not be wearing their contact lenses, or they might not be wearing their glasses, and perhaps make some recommendations to what those next steps might be. Equally, contact lens opticians will be able to, again, understand the sorts of things that they want to find out from those individuals and make sure that they are wearing their lenses in the right way. And again, if they're not, what those sort of plan B options might be. So I think the flexibility to course correct is the responsibility of the entire practice team. That key question of adherence to the treatment protocol is something that we can all be involved in. Thinking about a child as they begin their journey in myopia, they've got a long sort of, progression track ahead of them. So what might be right at the very beginning of their journey as a 7-year-old is probably going to need to change as their habits change, as their lifestyles change, as their own motivations change, and perhaps even as their supervision from parents change too. So there are moments and key milestones along that journey where parents and the ECP and the child themselves might need to think about different options to make sure that they end up with maximum myopia control potential. So the audience voted for Dan to go into a myopia controlling spectacle intervention, which we had predicted. That's sort of reflected in some of the survey data that we've already sort of seen. But spectacle wearers don't necessarily find it easy to wear their glasses in the way that they are intended. So we're expecting a myopia control treatment to be worn full time, so all day, every day, from the moment those children wake up to the moment those children go to bed, which is quite difficult in a spectacle wear. Some children may also not like wearing their glasses, so but when they're young, they might wear them much more compliantly than perhaps when they are a little bit older, and they might push the boundaries a little bit. So it's those moments that we'd like eye care professionals to try and tease out and challenge and interrogate when those parents and families come back and see them on their follow-up visits. So I was first invited to present at 100% Optical back in 2017, and at that moment in time there weren't that many options available. Some eye care professionals were perhaps interested in the concept of myopia control and were using off-label interventions with an evidence base, but certainly nothing that was commercially available. It just goes to show how far this industry has come in the short space of time between 2017 and where we are today, and the narrative that supports that category and the changes that we have. We have far more interventions available, which is a fantastic way of being able to manage the significant growth in myopes that we're seeing both here and around the world.
I am Rob Chapman. I am the Commercial Director for CloserStill's human and animal health portfolio. CloserStill started back in 2009, and actually our first events that we bought were actually in the healthcare world. We bought a small business that ran the pharmacy show and the dentistry show, and later that year we launched a vet show in London. And since then we've grown those events massively, as well as growing the portfolio to what is now a portfolio of, I believe, 19 different healthcare events in both primary and secondary care. We've watched 100% Optical from afar for quite a while. CloserStill has always focused on trade shows with that medical focus. So we'd often wondered about how 100% Optical could fit in our portfolio. And whilst Media 10 have done an absolutely fantastic job growing the event to what it is now, we always felt it might sit a little bit better with us. So yeah, it's one that we'd kept an eye on for a long time, and being here over this last couple of days, it has really reaffirmed what we thought. The profession and the exhibitors are just a really good bunch of people who really care about their business and their industry, which fits so well with so many of the other markets we serve as well. So yeah, it's been really good to be here. This last couple of days has really been about finding out what we can bring over and what the similarities are. And there might be some things that we can learn and some things we can bring across, but really it's the similarities I'm interested in. And the similarities are the importance of the CPD, it's the importance of the exhibitors in supporting the event. But probably the biggest thing is the importance of the community. You know, we serve a lot of professions who need a sense of community, and they don't quite often get that in their work life in the same way as they can at an event like this, where they can meet a lot of people, old friends and new, who go through similar situations. That for me is the similarity which really brings everything together, and the more we can do to harness that across all our events, the better we'll be.
So my name is Sophia Fazal. I am the Professional Services Manager for the UK and Ireland for Hoya. Hoya is a company which is just over 80 years old. It has Japanese heritage. We're very proud of the innovative nature of the business. We are looking to create patient-centric solutions. It's an exciting time at the moment. We've seen how myopia management has evolved, and the governing bodies are now accepting and kind of saying to us that we should, as practitioners, be having those meaningful conversations now. So this year we're delighted to bring something more to the MyoSmart range. This year we are providing our professionals with the added bonus of extending the range for MyoSmart. This is extending it to a -13 diopter range. We have also looked at innovating our sensitive range, which is quite exciting, but we wanted to do something a bit more fun. We are now launching in Easter to come the sensitive colour range, which is a bit more fun, fashionable, bring something new, maybe something for those who are younger. And finally, we're showcasing the VR Move, which is something really exciting for professionals and practitioners in practice, brings that digital measuring, the option to be more slick, provide that support to practices who haven't got a DO maybe on site, but also allowing that experience for the patient to have that automated experience in practice. It measures all your extra measurements that you need, so your BVD, your Panto, your RAP. It's very quick to use, it's very accurate. Our previous version of this was a little bit lighter, so sometimes it was a bit more difficult to get that measurement. The casing is designed now, it's a lot more comfortable to hold, it's lightweight. It's also can be bought with a stand, so if you are somebody like me who's slightly shorter, it allows you to put it on the stand and then help with those taller patients. It's fast, it's easy to use, it's accurate, and within a few seconds you've got those measurements done for you.
Hi, I'm Mathilde Beau. I'm the Managing Director for Johnson & Johnson Vision Care for Western Europe. And I've been now more than 22 years working for Johnson & Johnson and more than 10 in vision, optics, and in the UK. What we see is this change of lifestyle. Lifestyle has changed a lot over the last year. We know we spend much more time in front of screen. We are indoors, but as well sports. But tomorrow and in the next 3 years, her lifestyle would change again. So I think it's important to bring to life the way we're fitting contact lens today and tomorrow will be different. And we need to bring those conversations to make sure we drive better patient outcome. It was important to understand the role of vision. What is the impact of being comfortable with your vision, not only on what you see, but on your confidence, on your lives. It's almost 98% of consumer interview that feel held back actually by their vision and how they feel they can live fully with confidence their days. It is important because I think we undermined how much vision is important. One of our priorities is addressing patient needs gaps, and especially all the need gap we see, there are indeed still opportunity in astigmatism, but a huge opportunity, especially in our market, is presbyopia. With aging population, but as well increasing lifestyle change needs, we do see a huge opportunity with contact lens and presbyopia. And it's very important that the first need gap, and especially with presbyopia, is vision, quality of vision during your day, throughout the day. And that's why, that's been one of our latest advancements with the launch of Acuvue Oasis Max for presbyopia, is really to make sure we could address actually the need of these patients, but especially starting with quality of vision. All our science and our inspired design have been combined in this latest innovation to really provide a unique experience. And I think we're trying to talk to more and more patients to make sure they tell us, but it's really something important, but more to come as we look at further innovation and bringing education tools as well to help practices, fit faster and provide more experience in presbyopia.
Lifestyle is a big thing, and I think it is the key to maximising success with whatever that visual solution is. And when it comes to contact lenses, you're looking at this little lens. How do you describe to somebody how that lens is different to something else? And so learning what those different properties are, but being able to explain it in a patient-friendly way is always the challenge. So if we look at Oasis One Day Max, that is designed to offer max vision, max clarity, max comfort. But okay, what is it that does that? So you've got the tear stable technology, which is locked in PVP to make the lens tear-like, keep it comfortable, but also help give consistent vision. If you're looking at those people who become presbyopic, we know we're all collecting birthdays, but we still want to have good vision. We still want to be able to wear contact lenses. And the pupil optimized design allows you to achieve that. And you've got optically filter to reduce glare and scatter and keep that visual comfort there. So there's so much that you can do, and an active lifestyle. I myself do a lot of sport, but I'm active in the consulting room as well. I'm looking at different screens, different light conditions. I'm in one room, then the next. So it's not just those people who are active outdoors. All of our lives can be active in different ways, and mental activity, physical activity. So it's really nice to be able to offer a really good level of lens and technology to your patients.
I'm Nishani Amara-Singha. I'm a consultant ophthalmologist at Southampton University Hospital's NHS Trust. I'm a glaucoma and cataract specialist, and I'm also the past president of the UK and Air Glaucoma Society. The optometrist is our gatekeeper because 50% of glaucoma is undiagnosed.
We all need to work together to make this count, and the biggest thing we can do is actually proactively call for change.
And really calling upon government, who we believe are definitely quiet at the moment around their plans around chronic care, especially glaucoma, and the need for us to have a national eye care strategy.
So what we really need in glaucoma care is timely diagnosis and appropriate follow-up. And what we need is policymakers to realise how important glaucoma is. It affects 2% of the population over the age of 40 and 10% of the population over the age of 75. So these patients need to be picked up and also have timely management. We need the healthcare and policy makers able to provide the resources so that we can do this.
I think optometry and ophthalmology have to work together with defined pathways to make sure that we can do, good for patients with glaucoma and reduce avoidable sight loss.
No matter where you are as an optometrist, whether you're in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales or England, upskill yourself, become the best clinician you could be, but also don't forget, for the vast majority of people that you see, there's a healthcare message that you can give them that'll make people able to go out and talk more eloquently to others in their network and access care. There's still 1 in 4 people who don't access regular eye care, and we all have a responsibility, no matter what our role is, to help people to understand that they should be accessing services.
And we have a really defined model. When you look at Wales or we look at Scotland, we can see what the future needs to look like. We just need to convince policymakers and stakeholders that, in England, that is the future for eye care in England.
If these patients aren't looked after, the morbidity that's associated with them affects social care, affects all the other parts of their funding stream. So if we pick up these patients early, we'll make them live well with their chronic diseases, and they won't be such a burden to the whole overall healthcare and social economy.
We don't always think about the secondary and tertiary issues with people's eye health, and it's a massive one. Of course, with the technology that we have now with SLT and now MIGS, there is a way to give people far better outcomes long term, and some people are even able to go without drops. Now those drops, they're a huge ball around the ankle of certain people because ultimately they've got peripheral neuropathies, difficulty putting them in. And for most people, they will have some ocular surface disease as a result of repeatedly using drops on a daily basis. So if we can give them a drops-free life, they'll be more concordant, but ultimately they'll have better outcomes.
We need a national eye health strategy for England now that includes glaucoma and other chronic conditions, but the answer is now. It needs to happen now. Every day, more and more patients are losing their sight needlessly, which is an absolute travesty.
And then our real key message was the importance of Glaucoma UK as a pastoral partner to healthcare professionals in helping the well-being of patients. Glaucoma UK have all the resources and the time to help the patient's well-being as well.
So Robin Marsden, I'm an optometrist and I am the Professional Education and Development Manager at Johnson & Johnson Vision in charge of the STEP programme. So the STEP programme has been around for over 10 years. It aims to support optometry students from undergrad all the way through to newly qualified, to all of the processes that they go through to become newly qualified and beyond. So we have a newly qualified programme too. Basically, we don't teach content. They're taught everything they need at university, but what the STEP programme does does is it supports them to be able to apply that content once they're with their patients. So we get them to think about why are they using that technique, how are they communicating, why are they doing what they're doing in terms of their routine. And it's really about all aspects of optometry. It's not just about contact lenses, even though it's run by Johnson & Johnson, obviously a contact lens company. It's front of the eye, back of the eye, binocular vision, dispensing, low vision. It's every aspect for the best holistic care they can give to their patient possible, really. Well, the STEP program's changing. It's been around for a very long time, but the way optometrists are qualifying is changing in the UK. So rather than having a sole program scheme for registration, actually there now are different routes to qualification. The scheme for registration ending in OSCEs will continue for a number of years, but there's also different routes to qualification with the college, different ways to become a qualified optometrist. So what we're having to do is reignite the STEP program and ensure that it's really fit for purpose to support an optometry student, whatever their route of qualification. So the aim is that we will provide this education no matter how you're going to qualify, you'll get that same support from the STEP program. And with the program being completely free, we're making sure everybody knows about it and that they're able to join the program and be as involved as they want to be. We're going to launch this new program on October the 6th is the proposed date. We'll actually press go and everyone will be able to explore all the content we've got available. What we're doing is changing things slightly to ensure that it is really targeted to what an individual student feels they need help with. So we have online content, we have live Zoom webinars run by really experienced clinicians, we have face-to-face courses, and every student can choose how they want to actually gain credits to move through the STEP program. So if online works for them, if they learn the best that way, they can do the online content. If they'd like to come to a course, they can do that. So we've really made it that they can actually pick and choose both the type of learning and the topics of learning for them to progress through the program. As long as they gain enough credits in STEP Bronze at the undergraduate level, they'll then get to STEP Silver, they can gain credits there, and then they get to STEP Gold. And STEP Gold is helping them with their final exams. The STEP program has always been working with the universities. We've always gone into second year university, let the students know how to join STEP. But actually what we're doing going forward is we're not just going to have that they only join from second year. We're going to make it when we relaunch the new STEP program that if they haven't already joined, they can actually join at a later date. They'll need to catch up, but it isn't just that's the only place you can join STEP. If they're a bit later on, perhaps they're an overseas student and we've not seen them at a university in the UK, they can also join STEP. So we're making it as inclusive as we can to really ensure that any student who wants to do the best they can in their career, we're there to support them.
So my name is Chris Hogg. I'm a product manager at Thermaeye Pharmaceuticals. So the main product we're showcasing this year is Blefaderm, which is a cream for sensitive, dry and irritated skin around the eye. Blefaderm is ophthalmologically and dermatologically tested. It's 100% preservative and fragrance-free. It works to soothe and hydrate skin around the eye, but it also works to protect and repair the skin barrier, while also helping to reduce some under-eye puffiness that you might experience. So the product contains 3 natural origin ingredients, trehalose, hyaluronic acid, and an ingredient called Ophiopogon japonicus. And these 3 ingredients together help to hydrate the skin, soothe it, but also provide an element of protection and restore the skin's natural barrier. One of the things we say about Blefaderm is that it is really an extension of our leading Blefa range in general. The idea, particularly for sensitive skin around the eyes, is that you could combine this with one of our Blefa products in the cleanse section, so something like Blefa Clean or Blefa Sol or Blefa Gel. That will be a first step to cleanse sort of the skin around the eye. And then you can use Blefaderm to get a bit of a more long-lasting sort of relief from some of the symptoms you mentioned, and a more of a sort of all-round care sort of effect. Before we launched the product, we did a lot of extensive research. The thing we found was that many practices were seeing patients present with symptoms of sensitive, irritated, dry skin around the eye. They didn't really have much to recommend. Many creams aren't suitable for sensitive skin around the eye, and therefore they felt they were really not able to help their patients. I think with Blefaderm now, when they're seeing these symptoms present, they have something they can confidently recommend.